What is good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode brought to you by the League FFB. Today, we're going to be going through my Week 9 top 36 running back rankings as we head into the weekend. As always, if you are not subscribed to the channel, make sure you are subscribed to this channel. We did a wide receiver version of this episode that came out earlier today. If you like this video after you've watched it, you want to go check that one out. It will be linked in the description for you. But without wasting any more time, let's hop right into today's video and let's start talking about these top 36 running backs. So as you can see, I got the tier maker pulled up on the screen. I mentioned it in the wide receiver video, but we did this video a little bit differently last week. In the past, we've talked about each of these guys individually, probably giving them 60 to 90 seconds each. It's been a much longer video than this one is, but last week we talked about them in groupings, in tiers, in each of these tierings. So I do want to do that again today. If you like that type of format, let me know in the comment section below. I am definitely open to all and any feedback that you may have. If you like the old format, maybe we can go back to that one as well. But I wanted to try this one more time for you guys just to see how it feels. But let's kick it off here with the elite RB1s in my tier 1. I got 4 running backs in this tier, going from running back 1 to 4. We got Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, Kyren Williams, and Bijan Robinson. So all of these guys are obviously going to be your elite running backs. We're going to be playing them no matter what. There is quite a lot of nice matchups in this tier as well. Saquon Barkley, he gets a matchup against the Jacksonville Jaguars that currently rank 25th against the running back position. They're giving up about 24.3 fantasy points per game. So definitely a good matchup for Saquon. Additionally, you got Kyren Williams who gets the Seahawks, who are currently ranked 28th, and you get Bijan against the Dallas Cowboys, who are currently ranked 30th. So lots of good matchups in this tier. Derrick Henry, he's Derrick Henry. He is him. He is King Henry. That's just the way it's going to be. But do not overthink these guys. Obviously, they're going to be plugged into your lineups, and they are the elite RB1s here this week. Now, let's move on to the high-end RB1s. Coming in this tier, I have 6 running backs to talk about. Going at RB5, Kenneth Walker, James Cook, Joe Mixon, Jahmyr Gibbs, Alvin Kamara, and Achane. That rounds out the top 10 for us. Couple of matchups I want to talk about specifically is Alvin Kamara's. He gets a matchup against the Carolina Panthers. They are currently ranked 32nd against the running back position. They're giving up about 30.1 fantasy points per game. This should be a smash matchup for Alvin Kamara, so I expect a very big week from him here this week. Same thing can be said for Achane. He gets the Buffalo Bills, and yes, the Buffalo Bills have been a very good team. They've been very good against the wide receiver position defensively, but they've been very bad against the running back position. They're currently ranked 29th, giving up about 25.8 fantasy points per game, and we saw with Tua back in the lineup last week, he has the ability to smash again. Even though he got vultured from Raheem Mostert, it's going to happen, but Achane is still a smash play for me this week. Now, moving on to tier 3, this is going to be the low-end RB1s, and I only got 3 guys to round out the low-end RB1s. You got Breece Hall, Jonathan Taylor, and DeAndre Swift for me. There's 2 matchups specifically that I think we need to talk about. The first one is going to be Breece Hall versus Houston. This is going to be a tougher matchup, and we've seen Breece Hall kind of have his usage fluctuating over the last couple of weeks. It's hard to trust what type of Breece Hall usage we're going to get because as we've seen, he's been used as a bell cow, and then we've seen Braylon Allen on the field a lot. So it's going to be tough to tell. This is a tough matchup. Currently, Houston is ranked 6th against the running back position, only giving up about 17.4 fantasy points per game. But Breece Hall is Breece Hall, so we're still going to play him as a low-end RB1. Now, DeAndre Swift, he has a very easy matchup. He gets the Arizona Cardinals, and DeAndre Swift has been very good for fantasy football purposes. The Cardinals currently ranked 27th, giving up about 24.9 fantasy points per game. I think Swift has the ability to go out and give us another big splash play, some more points for our fantasy football teams. And I think because of that, we need to be looking at him as a low-end RB1 here in week 9. Now going to my tier 4, my tier 4 is going to feel massive. There is a total of 9 running backs in this tier, and these are the safe running back 2 plays. It's going to take us from running back 14 all the way to running back 22. So let's talk about these guys. Kareem Hunt, Aaron Jones, David Montgomery, Josh Jacobs, Tony Pollard, Chuba Hubbard, Brian Robinson Jr., James Conner, and J.K. Dobbins. That is the entire tier. I think this is the largest tier we've had all year long, but it does feel like most of these guys, if not all of these guys, feel like they have the same type of upside here this week. Now let's talk about a couple of these matchups in this tier. Obviously, we can talk about Josh Jacobs because in the wide receiver episode, we talked about potentially no Jordan Love in the lineup. This is going to be a tougher matchup for Jacobs as well. Detroit, they're currently ranked 2nd against the running back position, only giving up about 15.6 fantasy points per game. If it is Malik Willis under center, they're going to lean on the run. How efficient Jacobs will be is still TBD, but I think Josh Jacobs, he's going to find himself as a safe RB2 play, but I don't know if he has that RB1 ceiling this week specifically. And in the theme of tougher matchups, let's also talk about J.K. Dobbins at running back 22. It's a tough matchup against the Cleveland Browns. They currently rank 5th against the running back position. Obviously a good defensive line over there in Cleveland, only giving up about 16.9 fantasy points per game. Dobbins is a safe running back too, and he has some upside most weeks. I think this is a very matchup dependent type of running back, and this is a matchup where you can temper the expectations with J.K. Dobbins, but he still finds his way here into this tier 4. Now, for good matchups, if you have a couple of these guys and you're trying to target a good matchup, Tony Pollard and Chuba Hubbard both have good matchups. Pollard gets the New England Patriots and Chuba gets the New Orleans Saints. The New England Patriots currently ranking 31st against the position, and the New Orleans Saints ranking 26th against the position. So if you're looking for good matchups to target in this tier, those two guys would be the guys that I would be targeting. Now, moving on to my tier 5, I got 4 running backs in this tier, and this is those fringe running back 2. So maybe they finish as running back 2 this week, maybe not. They're right on the fringe for me. Coming in at 23, I got Chase Brown, I got Tyrone Tracy, Ramondre Stevenson, and Tank Bigsby. Now, we can talk about Tyrone Tracy. I think he's pushed down my rankings just a tiny bit right now because he is questionable with a head injury. He did have that head injury in the last game that they played there on Monday Night Football against the Steelers. So until we get some more news, I'm going to temper the expectations with Tracy. And then Bigsby, he has a very tough matchup. Even though he should see the workload, Travis Etienne, most likely, I'm not projecting him to be back into the lineup this week. Philadelphia is currently the 4th hardest matchup for running backs right now, so we are going to temper those expectations with Bigsby as well. Now, moving on to tier 6, these are your low upside RB3s. I got 4 running backs in this tier as well. You got Bucky Irving, Raheem Mostert, Javonte Williams, and Alexander Madison. Some tough matchups here, specifically for Bucky Irving. Bucky Irving, he plays on the road at the Kansas City Chiefs. They are the #1 defense against the running back position currently, only allowing 11.7 fantasy points per game to the position group as a whole. So if they're only allowing 11, this is also a committee. Maybe there's not going to be a lot of points to go around for Bucky Irving. The same can be said for Javonte Williams as well. Javonte, he gets a matchup on the road at the Baltimore Ravens. They are currently the 7th toughest matchup for the running back position. So some tough matchups for those guys. If you're looking for a team with a easy matchup in this tier, Raheem Mostert, as I mentioned, they play the Buffalo Bills. We talked about it being a good matchup with Devon Achane. Raheem Mostert, he has some low-end RB3 type of appeal for me just because of the matchup and the chance that he is taking some of those goal line carries. So Raheem Mostert still coming in for me as my running back 28 on the week. And now moving on to my tier 7. My tier 7, this is going to be a tier of only guys I would consider as flex plays, nothing more. I'm going to go all the way to 36 here. You got Nick Chubb, you got Rico Dowdle, Austin Eckler, Tyler Algier, Rachaad White, and Zach Moss. This is kind of the misfit tier at the moment for me. There's a lot of tough matchups. Let's kick it off with Nick Chubb, 31. He gets a tough matchup against the Los Angeles Chargers. They are the 3rd toughest defense against the run so far this year. Rico Dowdle gets a tough matchup against Atlanta, who is currently ranked 8th. And Rachaad White, we mentioned that Kansas City matchup. Obviously, that will apply to him as well. Now, Tyler Algier, he gets that easy matchup against Dallas. We mentioned about it with Bijan. They are currently ranked 30th. They're giving up about 26.1 fantasy points per game. Algier has a chance to have some committee appeal in this one if you need a flex play. But other than that, this is kind of a grouping of a lot of the guys that we don't really know what they can do. And in general, they also do have hard matchups. One thing to know as well, Rico Dowdle is questionable with an illness this week. He did not play in this game on Sunday Night Football because he was sick. We'll see if that gets cleared up. I expect it to get cleared up, but we'll see what happens throughout the week in the reports as well. So there you have it, folks. That is my top 36 running backs as we head into week 9 of the fantasy football season. As always, if you enjoyed the content, make sure you hit the like button. Also, if you have not already, make sure you are subscribed to the channel and go check out that wide receiver video from earlier. Last but not least, make sure you are a member of our Discord. We do have a free Discord linked in the description. And as I mentioned, it's free to join, so there is no risk in doing that. With all of that out of the way, I have nothing else for you guys today. So I will see you on our next episode. Until then, peace out.